Hi guys, it's Hugo and welcome back to another video. Today I'll bring you my review for City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. This was a recommendation by Dora from the channel Books and Movies. She said, if I loved so much Evelyn Hugo, I would definitely love this book, and I will say she was damn right. This book is very good. City of Girls follow Vivian. She's 29 years old and she doesn't want to be a normal life. This is set on the 1940s. It's the start of World War II and set in the United States. So Vivian, after she quit college, she decides to go to live with her aunt in New York City. Her aunt is earn a lot of money by doing some acting works, and now she owns a theater, the Lily Playhouse. It's a very small and not very known theater. They usually do more plays for the more poor people, and the book follows the discovery of Vivian as a woman, has her interest in sexuality, and her becoming a more mature woman during the World War and everything through heartbreaks. It's basically learning to live. The premise of the beginning of this book is written as if it's a letter. In the beginning, the first page, Vivian, in a very advanced age, receives a letter from Monica. And Monica asks her, after her mother died and their father, what was Vivian for her father. So this is the main question of the book, discovering what was Vivian for Monica's father. From what we see from the beginning, Vivian was from a small town, very focus on the role of the woman from the 1940s, and she collides with this world of the theater, the glamours, the rocky life, the drinking, the smoking, the sexual awakening. Vivian is awakened by these actresses, these chorist girls, these dancers, how to express her sexuality and how to be happy with it. What I loved about this book was the setting. I love the 1940s, 50s, 60s on Hollywood, on theater. If we compare to Evelyn Hugo, we have an insight on the Hollywood industry, but here we have an insight on the theater industry of New York, and not in the big stage but in the small ones. And it's very interesting how they created the shows, how the teamwork, and how a woman discovered herself and she used herself to uplift this new life. It was really interesting. The story is basically focused on 2 years of Vivian's life, more than half of the book, which is the 2 years that she is in New York, a year and a half. And this is where the theater puts a big play called City of Girls, and the implications that the play will have in their lives. And that was the point that I didn't like so much of the book, is because we don't spend a lot of time in Vivian's life. We have a lot of focus on her awakening as a woman, and that was very interesting. But then, when she goes back to the house, and then things start happening, and then the war, and then we go from small episodes of her life. We don't have a continuous line for her life. We just have some glimpses of the most important aspects. And I feel like in the case of Evelyn, we have more cohesive passing of the time. Here was okay, and that year was very important for her, and then there were small glimpses of this year was important, this event was important, and then this one. But I think the narrative is very interesting. Elizabeth Gilbert's writing style I wasn't expecting, but it's very captivating. It's easy to read, but at the same time it gives you a depth about the human mind and how women worked in that time. And Vivian talks here like the 60s is the sexual awakening of the mental state, but she was sexual awake long before. That was brilliant. And how Vivian described that she never loved anyone as she loved the person she did, and how that love was translated was brilliantly done. I really enjoyed that story. I think I don't have so much to say about this book. It's basically awakening of a woman that in a different society and in different situations that will build her for a life, you know, her mistakes that she have to learn that you will commit mistakes, but you have to not be guarded, you have to confront them, you have to learn from them, you have to take the chest to the bullets, you have to be able, if you do it, you have to suffer the consequence and you have to deal with that. And that is great lessons which we take from this book. I think also the way some characters worked and how they teach Vivian some lessons were very interesting, and how she never needed anyone, um, because she had what she needed, you know, and how she proved some characters on the end they were wrong about her. That was really interesting. I think the format of letter can be sometimes not so appealing. It depends on if you like the type of writing, because she sometimes says to the Monica's, oh, don't think about that, Monica, as she having a conversation, but it's only her side. But for me, it worked very well. I think it tells the story very well in the way she's trying to reach the point that Monica wants, but has to give an insight and has to give a backstory from her, so we cannot take her from the wrong side of history. And we see that a lot. If we only focus on one point or one side of the story, there's a distortion of what people think that people means to the other, and that is what the story is mostly about. I totally love this book. It's not maybe one of my bests, but it's definitely a worth reading book. I'll give it 5 stars. It's definitely a book that you should check it out, especially if you like Evelyn Hugo. Will see the same environment, the same lifestyle. It's really enjoyable, and I hope you guys read it and tell me something. So guys, this was my review for City of Girls by Elizabeth Gilbert. Tell me in the comments if you like this book, if you read her other book, Eat, Pray, Love. I was forgetting. I was saying Julia Roberts, but I'm forgetting the name. I'll post videos every Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.